I was just about to drop around $2,000 on a brand new synth. Recently, I'm on Instagram looking at people make music with all these beautiful synths, and I'm like, I'm getting the itch to get me a new synth. So I started doing research on the best synths and what I would want, something that would fit my vibe. And I came across the Moog Subsequent 37, which seems super cool, and I really had my eye on it, watched a bunch of reviews and all that kind of stuff. But in the midst of all this research, there was one synth that really stood out as a recommended synth, and it was the Arturia Polybrute, which I already have. I stopped and I realized, hang on, bro. Again, I'm watching videos about the Moog. They're making patches and this and that. And then I realized, first off, I barely use this thing. It's an amazing synth. And I've barely scratched the surface on its capabilities. So then I'm like, bro, I'm over here about to spend all this money on a new synth when I've only been using the presets on this thing. And I'm embarrassed to say it, I've never adjusted any of those knobs, bro. I got no clue what this synth really is capable of. I don't know anything about synthesis. I'm just a preset guy. So whenever I'm using this synth to make music, I turn it on, I push one of the presets, I just get creating, bro. That's just who I am. So yeah, $2,000, that's a lot of money. So I decided to take a step back and go, before I buy a new synth, let me explore the capabilities of the one I already have outside of just using presets. So the goal for this video is do some research, find out what really stands out about the Polybrute, put it into action, and try to learn some basic synthesis and see what all these knobs are even for, to hopefully create a nice little beat or song or something like that. And then by the end of it, I'll make my decision on whether or not I am ready to actually bring a new synth into the format. So this is the Arturia Polybrute, and this is how I usually make beats. A beat is probably already made, already going, and then I just flick around. Usually I'm just throwing some strings on there like this. Sometimes I mess around with this. Or this. But do I really know what it's doing? Let's pull up some keys. It's more my vibe. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, so that's all I know, and all this stuff never touched. So I'm gonna go watch some videos, but let's just see. Let's try to turn this sound into something else without any knowledge. And let's start with this. Ooh. I don't know how I did that. That's kind of fire. Let's watch some YouTube videos and figure out what this stuff actually does. All right, so I just spent a few hours watching tutorials, learning terms like oscillators, sine wave, noise, modulators, LFOs, resonance, attack, gain, delay. I learned the gist of all these things. The basics of synthesis that I kind of understand is you have oscillators that make the sound, and there's different sound waves like triangles, sine waves, square waves, and you can blend them together. And then you move on to a filter where you can do a high pass or a low pass. And then you have the ADSR, which is attack, delay, sustain, release. The attack will make it hit right away or start a little slower. The decay will make it kind of larger. Sustain will keep it going longer, whatever. Shorter release, pluckier sound. Longer release, longer it goes. So I learned the basics, and I feel like I can kind of find my way around things. But what I will say is, I won't lie, I got completely overwhelmed, and I realized this might just be too much for me, bro. This synth might be too powerful. I think I still might just be a preset guy, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but at least now I know a little bit. So I'm still gonna try to make my own patch for the sake of this video to show you guys what I learned, so you know I'm not capping, but maybe I'll use my knowledge to tweak presets or something like that. I'm not about to pull up, all right, time to make beats, and then start making sounds from scratch. I don't think I'm gonna be doing that, but without further ado, let's try, dude. Okay, so VCO1, how do I want it to sound? I think the real gist is just doing whatever you want, you know? Let's start messing with the filter. I could go for some release. A little more attack, I think. A little less attack. Low pass vibes. High pass vibes. Less attack. Something about this FM. Okay, now let's mess with this LFO perhaps. That sounds good. Okay, now we got some effects here too. Let's throw a bit of chorus on there. Some reverb. A little bit of delay. Let's ping it. Ooh, I like that. Looks like there's an arpeggiator here. Let's just hit ARP and see what happens. Turn the rate down. Let's turn the BPM to like 85, 83. All right, so here's the patch I just created. Then there's more stuff I can modulate it with, apparently. So like if I hit mod, hit 1 or whatever, pitch global, LFO or something. I don't know what I did there. Let's change it to master cutoff, and then let's put that on the LFO3 maybe? Turn the rate up or something. Do LFO1 maybe? Turn it up. Do 3. I'm not even gonna save that. Let's go back to like regular presets, right? Let's go to one of these. This set. Okay, let's mess with it now. So if I want to make something a little softer, I boost the attack a little. Let's try to put that into practice by going to some other presets. Okay, let's go to this preset and see how I would adjust it to something that is of my liking. It's pretty good, but let's see, let's mess with the filter maybe? Ooh. Okay, I like that. Maybe I can mess with the LFO for this, perhaps? So here's what I'll say. If you're a producer like me who's jonesing to buy a new synth or a new plugin, first, learn synthesis a bit, you know what I'm saying? Because with what I've learned so far, hypothetically now I can get into Ableton, open up Wavetable or Operator and just start making stuff with Ableton stock sounds. So regardless, I'd recommend everyone watching to just learn a little bit of synthesis like I'm gonna try to do now moving forward. And I think personally, what would be better for me and possibly for you is perhaps trying to recreate presets or going on YouTube to figure out how to make specific sounding sounds. Like I want a big pad, or I want to make this type of bass or something like that. That's probably what I'm going to do moving forward. And two, before you buy gear, if you're like me and you just love buying gear, make sure you've actually put in the hours in your current gear. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I try to do, and that's what I plan on doing. I'm going to hold off on the Moog, and I'm going to try to use this in like every beat I have coming up for like the projects I'm working on. And if that itch doesn't wear off, I'll just buy a new synth, bro. But it's just a thought that occurred to me. Literally, bro, I had it in my cart. I was about to, boom, hit buy. But I'm like, you know what? Let me try to learn my synth first. So that's just a reminder for anybody with gas, you know what I'm saying? Gear acquisition syndrome, I believe is what it's called. So yeah, maybe think twice and you could save some money. That being said, if this video gets 500 likes, I'll buy the Moog, bro. I'll buy the Moog and I'll do a video on it because why not?